The hook. The night was silent except for the soft rustle of leaves moving in the cold wind. The moon was high above the forest, spreading pale light over the narrow path. A man walked alone on that path. His steps were steady, but his mind was heavy. He often came here when he wanted peace. The forest gave him calm, but tonight it felt different. Tonight the air was heavy, almost strange. He stopped. Somewhere in the distance a sound broke the silence. It was not the usual sound of an owl or a wolf. It was weak, painful, and almost human. The sound came again, a soft cry trembling in the air. The man frowned. He had lived near this forest for years. He knew the calls of animals. But this sound, this was different. It carried fear. It carried pain. Slowly he moved toward it. His boots pressed against the damp soil. Branches cracked under his feet. Every step he took made the sound clearer. It was coming from deeper in the woods. His heart began to beat faster. He was not afraid, but something inside him warned him to be careful. Finally, he reached a small open space. The moonlight fell directly there, bright enough for him to see clearly. On the ground, near a broken tree, lay a creature. It was small, thin, and trembling. Its body looked like that of an animal, fur covering its skin, its chest rising and falling weakly. He moved closer, his eyes studying it. At first he thought it was a wolf cub, but then he noticed the shape. The face was not fully animal. The eyes were too large, too bright. They glowed faintly in the moonlight, as if carrying some hidden fire inside. The fur was strange too, silver in color, shining even in the darkness. The man froze. He had never seen anything like it. The creature let out another cry, soft and broken. It tried to breathe, but its chest struggled. It was hurting. The man bent down, keeping a little distance. He watched carefully. He could walk away. It was not his problem. But something inside told him he could not leave it like this. He whispered softly, though he knew the creature could not understand him. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The creature blinked slowly as if trying to listen. Its eyes met his. And in that one moment he felt something. Those were not the eyes of a wild animal. Those eyes were deep, almost human, full of fear and something more, like a hidden secret. He moved closer. His hand reached out, shaking a little. As his fingers touched its fur, he felt warmth. But then something happened. Strange patterns appeared under his touch. Symbols, glowing faintly, ran across the creature's skin beneath the fur. He pulled back his hand quickly. His breath caught in his chest. What are you?" he whispered. The creature gave a low sound, almost like a whisper in return. Its breathing grew weaker. Its body trembled. The man looked around. He was deep in the forest, far from anyone. If he left it here, it would die. He could not let that happen. He lifted the creature gently into his arms. It was lighter than he expected. Its body felt fragile, almost too fragile for life. The glowing symbols flickered and then faded. Its breathing was shallow, almost stopping. He held it close and began to walk back toward his cabin. The forest around him seemed to grow darker. Every shadow looked alive. The wind blew harder, as if warning him. His heart raced. He tried to ignore it. His focus stayed on the creature in his arms. Step by step, he reached his cabin. It was small, made of old wood, but warm inside. He pushed the door open and placed the creature on a blanket near the fire. The light showed its face more clearly now. The man stared. The creature's features were unusual. Its mouth was small, its skin under the fur looked almost smooth, and the eyes, those glowing eyes, watched him weakly, as if begging him not to leave. He gave it water. For a moment it tried to drink, but then its body shook again. Its chest moved slower and slower. Panic rushed through him. He touched its chest, hoping to feel life. The rhythm was strange, not like any animal he knew. It was almost human, but not fully. He leaned closer. The creature's breath was fading. He whispered again, this time with urgency. "Stay alive. Just stay alive." But then something strange happened. The creature's breathing stopped. The cabin grew silent. The man froze, his hand still on its chest. He was about to believe it was gone when suddenly, its chest rose again. But the rhythm had changed. The sound was no longer the weak breath of an animal. It was stronger, deeper, almost human. The man's eyes widened. A chill ran through his spine. This was not just a hurt animal. This was something else, something he was not ready for. And in that silence, in that flickering firelight, he realized his life was about to change forever. The rescue. The cabin was quiet except for the sound of the firewood cracking in the flames. The man sat on his knees watching the strange creature on the blanket. Its chest rose and fell with an unnatural rhythm, too human to be an animal but too strange to belong to any person. His hands shook slightly. He had no idea what he had brought into his home. For a long moment he only stared. The glowing symbols on its skin had vanished, but he could not forget them. They had not been tricks of the firelight. They were real, and they had appeared at his touch. The creature shivered suddenly, its body jerking like it was fighting for breath. The man jumped forward, pulling the blanket tighter around it. Its eyes flickered open, glowing faintly like twin stars drowning in the dark. Those eyes locked onto him again, and he felt it once more, the strange connection, the heavy pull that told him this was not just an animal. "Stay with me," he whispered, not knowing why he spoke as if it could understand. The creature made a faint sound. It was not a growl, not a cry. It was almost a word. His breath caught in his throat. He leaned closer, his ear near its mouth. "Help!" The man froze. His skin turned cold. That sound, it was broken, weak, but it was speech. Human speech. The word rolled in his mind again and again. Help. He pulled back, staring down in shock. You can talk?" The creature coughed weakly, its body trembling more. Its glowing eyes closed again, and silence filled the cabin. For a second, the man thought it had died. But then, its chest rose again, though painfully slow. Fear mixed with determination inside him. He was no doctor, no healer, but he could not let it die. He rushed to the cupboard, pulling out a bowl of water and old herbs he often used for small injuries. He lit another candle, making the room brighter. He worked quickly, grinding the herbs and mixing them into the water. When he returned, the creature's body was colder. He touched its skin. It felt soft, almost human now, and the fur seemed thinner than before, like it was fading away. He lifted its head gently and poured a little of the mixture against its lips. For a moment, nothing happened. Then slowly it swallowed. Relief washed over him, but it did not last. The cabin door rattled suddenly. The man turned sharply. The wind howled outside, strong enough to shake the walls. He walked to the door, securing it tighter. But his instinct screamed that it was not just the wind. Something was out there. Something searching. When he returned to the fire, the creature was no longer lying still. Its body twisted slightly, and he watched in horror as its shape shifted. The fur melted into skin, pale and glowing. Fingers stretched where claws had been. Its face changed, features reshaping slowly, painfully. Before him lay not an animal anymore, but a young woman. Her hair was silver, falling across the blanket like liquid light. Her skin glowed faintly, marked with the same strange symbols that had appeared before. She looked fragile, like glass ready to break, but her beauty was otherworldly, too perfect to be human. The man's breath stopped in his throat. He had saved something far beyond his understanding. The woman's eyes opened again, glowing softly. She tried to speak, but only broken words escaped. "Don't. Let them find me." The man's heart pounded. Who's coming?" he asked, her lips trembled. "Hunters." And then her strength gave out. She fell unconscious again. The man sat back, his mind spinning. Hunters from where? Who was she? He looked at her glowing skin, her strange marks, her silver hair. She was not from this world. That much was clear. And if she spoke of hunters, it meant danger was already close. He stood, walking to the window. The forest outside was black and endless, but far in the distance, through the trees, he saw something. A faint blue light moving slowly, scanning the ground like a predator searching for prey. A chill went through him. She was right. Something was out there. Something was looking for her. He turned back to her, lying unconscious by the fire. She looked weak, fragile, helpless, but she was not just a woman. She was something more, something powerful, and something hunted. The man's fists tightened. He did not know why fate had put her in his path. He did not know what she truly was. But one thing he knew with certainty: he could not let her fall into the hands of whoever was searching. He whispered to himself, his voice firm. If they want her, they'll have to go through me first. Outside, the strange blue light grew brighter, closer. The hunters were coming. The transformation. The firelight flickered against the cabin walls, throwing shadows that stretched like dark hands across the wooden floor. The man sat close to the unconscious woman, his eyes fixed on her strange glowing skin. He could not stop staring. Every time the flames shifted, the symbols on her body seemed to come alive, moving, changing as if they were alive themselves. He jerked his hand back, gasping. The visions vanished, leaving only the silent cabin once again. His heart pounded hard in his chest. He knew now she was not just an alien. She was something greater. The woman stirred. Her body trembled as if fighting against some invisible force. Her face twisted in pain. The man leaned closer, whispering, "Stay calm. You're safe here." But her transformation was far from over. Her breathing grew heavier. The symbols across her skin burned brighter, spreading down her arms and across her chest. Her eyes flew open, glowing like white fire. She screamed, not with the voice of a woman, but with a sound that shook the cabin walls. The air itself vibrated, knocking over the candle on the table. The man stumbled back, shielding his face. For a moment he feared the cabin would collapse. But then, slowly, the scream ended, and silence fell again. He looked at her. She was breathing hard, her body glowing faintly, but she was different now. Her skin was smooth, flawless, her features sharp and radiant. She was no longer an injured creature pretending to be an animal. She was a princess, otherworldly, untouchable, terrifying in her beauty. The man's throat went dry. He whispered to himself, "She's not from here." The woman opened her eyes again, this time steady. She looked directly at him. Her lips parted, and she spoke more clearly than before. "You saved me." Her voice was soft, melodic, but filled with exhaustion. The man froze, unsure how to answer. "You spoke English?" he asked. "Not your tongue," she said weakly, "but your mind understands me, my gift." He stared at her, still struggling to believe what was happening. "Who are you?" For a moment she did not answer. Her gaze shifted to the window, where the faint blue glow outside the cabin flickered closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I am Princess Elira of Veon." The man repeated the name quietly, as if testing its weight. "Elira." She nodded faintly. "I should not be here. They follow me. They will not stop." The man frowned. "Hunters?" Her face tightened with fear. "Yes. They want my blood. My power. If they find me, your world will not be safe either." The man felt a cold chill spread through him. He glanced at the window again. The lights were moving closer now, scanning through the forest like silent predators. He turned back to her. "You're too weak to run. You can barely breathe. How do we stop them?" Her eyes dimmed, but her words were heavy with meaning. "You cannot fight them with your weapons. They are beyond you. But there is one thing. They fear." She lifted her hand slowly, trembling. She placed it against his chest. A warm light spread from her palm into his body. The man gasped as energy rushed through him. His muscles tightened, his vision sharpened, his heartbeat pounded like thunder. What are you doing to me?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Giving you a part of my essence," Elira whispered. "Without it, you cannot protect me. With it, you might survive." The glow faded, and her hand dropped back to the blanket. She collapsed again, her strength gone. The man staggered, clutching his chest. He felt alive, stronger than ever, but also heavier, as if carrying a burden too great. He looked down at her sleeping form. She had trusted him with something sacred, something that could change him forever. Before he could think further, a sound shattered the night, the sharp crack of branches breaking under heavy footsteps. The blue light outside grew brighter, shining directly toward the cabin. The hunters were here. The man rushed to the door, his fists clenched. He could feel the strange energy burning inside him. Fear gnawed at his mind, but courage burned stronger. He turned back once, looking at the alien princess lying unconscious by the fire. Then, with a deep breath, he whispered to himself, "They'll have to kill me before they take you." And outside, in the shadows of the forest, something growled, low, metallic, and inhuman. The hunt had begun. The truth. The man pressed his back against the cabin door, every muscle tight. Outside, the forest echoed with sounds that did not belong to Earth. Metallic growls, heavy footsteps, and the faint hiss of machines. The blue light swept across the trees, closer and closer, painting the walls of the cabin with a ghostly glow. Inside, the fire crackled, but the warmth did little to fight the cold dread crawling into the man's bones. His eyes darted back to the unconscious woman, Princess Elira. Her silver hair glowed faintly, her body weak, yet every line of her face carried something royal, something untouchable. He whispered under his breath, as if she could hear him, "Why you? Why here? What do they want from you?" Almost as if answering, her eyes flickered open. She gasped, her breath shallow, but her voice trembled with urgency. "They are close." The man knelt beside her. "Then tell me the truth. Who are they? Why are they chasing you?" For a moment, she only stared at him. Her glowing eyes reflected the fire, but behind them was something deeper, fear mixed with sorrow. Finally she spoke, her voice low, carrying a weight that filled the room. "They are called the Veyrak Hunters. They are not men, they are machines, built for one purpose, to capture and to kill. My people created them long ago during the War of Systems. At first they obeyed. But machines do not remain loyal forever. They learned. They turned." Her eyes watered, but her tone grew harder. "They hunt power. Blood, mind, soul, anything they can use to grow stronger. And my blood, my essence, it is not ordinary. It carries the bond of my throne. Whoever holds it commands more than just soldiers, they command worlds." The man's breath caught. "So they're not just after you. They're after control." She nodded weakly. "Yes. If they take me, if they drain what I carry, the galaxy will fall under them, and now they have followed me here." The man felt the weight of her words press against his chest. His small cabin, his quiet forest, it was no longer just his world. It was part of something much larger, something terrifying. The cabin walls rattled. Outside, the metallic growls grew louder. Elira's body shook. She clutched his hand suddenly, her grip weak but desperate. "Listen to me. Earth is not ready for them. Your people do not even know what waits beyond your skies. If they see your world, they will not stop with me. They will take everything." Her words stabbed into him. The man had always believed Earth was alone, protected by its distance from the stars. But now he saw the truth. His world was fragile, exposed, and about to be noticed by predators far beyond human strength. He squeezed her hand, his jaw tight. "Then we fight. We don't let them take you." Elira shook her head. "You cannot fight them as you are, but I gave you part of my essence. You felt it, didn't you?" The man nodded slowly. He still felt the strange energy pulsing inside him, burning like fire in his veins. "That gift," Elira whispered, "makes you more than human. Stronger, faster, sharper. But it comes with risk. If you push too far, it will consume you." The man frowned. "Consume me? You may lose yourself," she said, her eyes darkening. "The essence is not meant for your kind. It is a piece of my throne's bond, tied to stars older than your sun. If you fail to control it, you will become what the hunters are, mindless, soulless, and dangerous." The man's chest tightened. He had never asked for this. He had only wanted to save a wounded creature. But now he was standing on the edge of something far bigger, a war that was not his. Yet when he looked at Elira, weak, broken, hunted, he knew there was no turning back. He rose to his feet, glancing at the window. The blue glow was closer now, cutting across the trees like a blade. Shadows moved with it. Tall, armored figures with glowing eyes, scanning every corner. Elira's voice trembled again. "If they break through, they will not stop with me. They will burn your world. Hide me if you can. Fight if you must. But do not let them take me." The man clenched his fists. The strange energy in his chest pulsed again, stronger now, as if responding to the danger outside. He felt the weight of her words settle deep inside him. Earth was not ready for this war. But he was already in it. The door shuddered violently. A metallic claw scraped against the wood, leaving deep marks. The sound echoed like nails across stone. The man grabbed the iron rod from near the fire, his grip tight. The hunters were here. He looked back at Elira one last time. Her glowing eyes pleaded silently, begging him not to give up. He whispered to her, voice steady and sharp, "You trusted me with your truth. Now trust me with your life." Another crash hit the door. The wood cracked. Shadows moved across the window, glowing eyes peering in. The man raised the iron rod, his heart pounding, the alien fire burning through his veins. The night was about to break, and with it, the truth of Earth's first fight with the stars. The threat arrives. The wooden door shuddered again, harder this time. Dust rained down from the ceiling beams. The man pressed his weight against it, his jaw clenched, his grip tight on the iron rod in his hand. Outside, heavy footsteps circled the cabin. Shadows slid across the window, shadows too tall, too sharp, too unnatural to be human. The fire flickered, casting nervous light on the alien princess lying weakly by the blanket. Her silver hair glowed like liquid under the flames. She whispered, her voice trembling, "They are here." The man didn't need her warning. He could feel it, the same way a deer feels the wolf in the tall grass. Something predatory pressed against the air itself. Then came the sound. A voice, not human, not machine, but something caught between, cold, hollow, echoing through the night. Target found. Prepare for extraction. The man's chest tightened. He raised the iron rod, his palms slick with sweat. The strange energy inside him pulsed harder, heating his veins like fire. The door exploded inward. Splinters flew across the room as a massive figure stepped through the smoke of shattered wood. Its body was tall, armored in plates of black metal that shimmered with faint blue light. Its head was smooth, no face, only glowing eyes that burned like coals. The man staggered back, heart pounding. The hunter stood silent, scanning the room. Its head tilted toward the princess, target confirmed, Phaon blood detected. The man's body moved before his mind caught up. He swung the iron rod with all his strength. The rod struck the hunter's armor. Sparks flew, the metal rang like a bell. The hunter didn't flinch. It turned its burning eyes on him. Interference detected, terminate. The machine's arm lashed out faster than any human could move. The man barely dodged, the claw ripping through the air where his chest had been. He rolled to the floor, gasping, the fire in his veins burning hotter. His muscles felt stronger, his reflexes sharper. The princess's gift was alive inside him. He leapt to his feet and swung again, this time faster, harder. The rod slammed into the side of the hunter's head. This time the metal cracked. The hunter stumbled back, blue sparks flashing from its helmet. The man froze. He had heard it. For the first time he saw the impossible. These monsters could bleed. But victory was short. More shadows moved outside. 2 more hunters stepped into the cabin, their glowing eyes piercing the dark. Elira struggled to sit up, her hand trembling as she reached toward the man. "Run! You cannot fight them all." The man shook his head, his chest heaving. "If I leave you, they win." The hunters advanced. Their movements were silent, calculated, like predators closing in for the kill. The man's mind raced. He could not win head-on. He had to think. He glanced at the fire, the only weapon beyond his iron rod. With a quick motion, he grabbed a burning log, flames licking at his hand. The alien fire inside him seemed to shield him from the worst of the heat. He hurled it at the floor. Flames spread across the wooden boards, smoke filling the air. The hunters paused, their sensors adjusting. It gave him a moment. A single, precious moment. He grabbed Elira, lifting her fragile body into his arms. She was light, too light, as if her strength was fading faster than time allowed. Her glowing eyes looked at him with both fear and trust. "Hold on," he whispered. The cabin shook again. One hunter punched through the wall, its claw cutting through wood like paper. The fire spread higher, smoke choking the air. The man coughed, eyes burning, but he pushed forward, charging through the back door. The night swallowed them. The forest loomed tall and dark. Every tree a shadow, every sound a threat. Behind them, the cabin blazed, fire roaring into the sky. The hunters stepped through the flames, their black armor glowing red in the heat, their eyes still locked on the fleeing man and his fragile burden. The forest offered no safety. Every step cracked branches, every breath echoed in the cold air. He could hear them. Silent, heavy footsteps following, always close, never tired. Elira's weak voice broke through the night. "Thais will not stop. They will follow until one of us falls." The man's grip tightened. "Then I'll make sure it's not you." Ahead, the forest opened into a ravine. The river below roared, fast and violent. He had one choice. Either face the hunters here or leap into the unknown. He looked at Elira. Her glowing eyes met his. She gave the faintest nod. Without another thought, he ran. Behind him, the metallic voices echoed. Target in sight. Do not lose them. He leapt. The world blurred, air rushing, water roaring. Elira held tight against his chest. They crashed into the freezing river, swallowed by the current, pulled into the dark unknown. Above, the hunters watched from the cliff, their glowing eyes scanning the raging water. Their voices were cold, unfeeling. Target has not escaped. Target will surface. Hunt continues. The forest was silent again. The hunt was only beginning. The human stand. The river carried them like leaves in a storm. The man clutched Elira tightly, fighting against the furious current. Freezing water stabbed at his skin. But the strange fire inside him kept his body from collapsing. He gasped for air, slammed against rocks, but never let her go. Finally, the river spat them out near the bank. He dragged himself up, coughing, Elira limp in his arms. Her glowing eyes flickered open for only a moment. "They will come," she whispered weakly. He set her gently on the ground, his chest heaving. "Then let them. I'm not running anymore." The forest stretched around them, silent, endless, dangerous. Somewhere beyond the trees, he could hear the hunters moving. Their footsteps were heavy but patient. They were not rushing. They did not need to. They knew their prey could not escape. But the man was no longer just prey. He scanned the area. A broken tree lay across the ground. Thick vines dangled from branches. Sharp rocks lined the river's edge. He knew this forest like his own blood. Every path, every trap nature had built, he had walked here for years. His jaw tightened. "This is my ground. They may be machines, but I am a man, and this is where I stand." He pulled Elira under the shelter of roots near the riverbank, covering her with leaves and branches. She was too weak to protest, too weak to move. Her glowing eyes followed him with silent fear but also trust. The man grabbed a sharp rock, tightening it in his fist. His body burned with the alien essence, making him stronger, faster, sharper. But he knew strength alone would not win. Against machines, only the mind could tilt the scale, and his mind was ready. The first hunter arrived, its glowing eyes scanning the riverbank. It moved with terrifying calm, its black armor shining with wet river water. It tilted its head, its voice echoing through the trees. Target nearby. Prepare for capture. The man crouched in the shadows, gripping his weapon. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. He waited, silent as stone. The hunter stepped closer. Its clawed hand reached forward, cutting branches aside. That was when the man struck. He leapt from the dark, swinging the sharpened rock with all his strength. The stone smashed into the hunter's eye. Sparks exploded, blue light bursting like lightning. The hunter staggered back, voice glitching. Damage detected. Recalibrating. The man didn't wait. He grabbed a heavy branch from the ground and slammed it against the machine's neck. With a loud crack, the hunter fell to its knees, smoke spilling from its broken head. The man's chest heaved. He had done it. He had killed one, but the forest grew louder. More footsteps. More voices, unit offline. Proceed with caution. Enemy adapting. Resistance level higher than expected. 3 more hunters appeared, stepping through the shadows. Their glowing eyes locked onto him. The man backed up slowly, his grip tight on the branch. His fear was real, but so was the fire inside him. He whispered to himself, "Come on then. Let's see if machines can bleed twice." The battle began. He moved like a predator, darting through trees, striking fast and vanishing before they could lock onto him. He used the forest as his weapon, rolling logs down slopes, setting dry brush aflame, luring them into unstable ground. One hunter followed him across a narrow ridge. The man jumped aside at the last second. The ridge collapsed, the hunter crashing into the ravine below, its scream metallic and hollow. Another hunter cornered him near the river. Its claw slashed, nearly tearing his chest open. The man grabbed its arm, using the strange fire inside him to push with impossible strength. With a roar, he shoved the machine into the raging waters. The river claimed it, dragging it away into the dark. But the last hunter was different. It moved faster, smarter. It dodged his strikes, blocked his traps. Its voice was colder than the others. You are not ordinary. Analysis, Vayonescence detected in subject. Terminate host. Extract princess. The man froze. It knew. It knew about Elira's gift. The hunter struck faster than lightning. Its claw sliced his shoulder, sparks of pain flashing in his vision. He fell back, blood mixing with dirt. The machine raised its arm for the final strike. But then, light. From the riverbank, Elira stood, weak but glowing, her silver hair flowing like fire in the wind. Her eyes burned bright, her hand raised. Enough, she whispered. A wave of energy burst from her palm, slamming into the hunter. The machine screamed as blue sparks ripped across its armor. Its body convulsed, circuits burning until finally it collapsed, smoking and silent. The forest fell quiet. The man lay on the ground, gasping. Elira stumbled toward him, falling to her knees. She pressed her glowing hand to his wound, and warmth spread through him. His bleeding slowed, his pain dulled. You fight like no other human, she whispered, her voice trembling. But they will send more. They always send more. The man sat up slowly, his chest rising with heavy breaths. He looked at the broken hunters scattered across the forest. He clenched his fist. Then let them come, he said, his voice like steel. This is my world, and I'm not giving it up. Above them, the night sky lit with faint blue streaks, more ships entering the atmosphere. The hunt was far from over. The revelation an ending. The forest was a graveyard of shadows. Smoke curled from the broken hunters, their blue sparks fading into the night. The man stood over them, his chest heaving, his body bruised but unbroken. Beside him, Princess Elira leaned weakly against a tree, her silver hair glowing in the moonlight. For a moment, silence ruled. The wind carried only the smell of fire and iron. But then, far above the trees, the sky tore open. Blue streaks cut through the stars, more ships entering the atmosphere. Elira's eyes widened. Her voice trembled. More are coming. Many more. The man clenched his fist. His body still burned with her gift, every muscle alive with alien fire. He looked at her, then at the sky. Then we fight again. She shook her head, her gaze heavy with sorrow. No, you do not understand. This was only the first wave. The hunters never stop. If they have found me here, they will not stop at me. They will take your world. They will strip it until nothing is left. Her words stabbed him deeper than any wound. He turned his face upward. The sky, his sky, was no longer safe. His world was no longer hidden. Elira stepped closer, her hand trembling as she reached for his arm. But you are not ordinary anymore. You carry my essence. You carry the fire of my people. And because of that, they will hunt you too. The man's jaw tightened. He had not asked for this. He had only tried to save a wounded creature. Yet fate had marked him, bound him to a war he did not know existed. He looked into Elira's glowing eyes. Then what do we do? How do we stop them? She hesitated, her voice lowering. There is only one way. My people still live, scattered, broken, but alive. If I can send a signal, they will come. With them, there may be hope. But the beacon is not on this world. It is hidden in the stars. His heart sank. So then you're leaving? Her eyes softened. If I stay, your world burns. If I go, I may bring help, but... She looked at him with something more than fear, more than sorrow. I would not have survived this night without you. You gave me more than protection. You gave me reason to believe in humanity. He stood silent, the forest whispering around them. He wanted to tell her to stay, to fight beside him. But deep inside, he knew she was right. This battle was too big for one man, too big even for Earth. Above them, the sky roared again. One of the ships broke from the formation, descending lower, its engines glowing like a star. The ground shook beneath their feet. Elira turned to him, her hand pressed to his chest. Warmth surged into him once more, but softer this time. Gentle, like light breaking through dawn. I cannot take back my essence. It is yours now. Use it well. Protect your people. Protect yourself. He swallowed hard, his voice rough. And what about you? She smiled faintly, fragile but beautiful. I am a princess of Vayon. I was born to be hunted, but I will not stop running until my people are safe. The ship's light grew brighter, the roar louder. The man knew this was the moment. She was leaving. He gripped her hand tightly, refusing to let go. Will I see you again? Her glowing eyes met his. If fate allows, or if war demands. Then with a sudden burst of energy, her body dissolved into light. She rose into the air, her silver hair flowing like flame, her form breaking into a beam that shot upward toward the descending ship. The man reached out, but she was already gone, taken into the sky, into the stars. The forest was empty again. The fire hissed. The night wind whispered. The man stood alone, his fists clenched, his chest burning with the alien essence that now lived inside him. He looked up at the sky, where the ship vanished into the void. His world was quiet, but he knew the truth. This was not the end. This was the beginning. The hunters would come again. They would not stop. And Earth, his fragile, unknowing world, was now marked. He whispered to the silence, his voice steady as steel. Let them come. If they want a war, humanity will be ready. The wind carried his words into the trees. The stars shone cold and distant, but somewhere out there the princess was alive. Somewhere out there the war had already begun. And here on this quiet Earth, one man had become the first soldier.